All right, ladies and gentlemen, you need to have out in front of you your unit circle that you had yesterday. And I'm going to take it and I'm literally going to spin it over on its side like this. And then I'm going to take my protractor, and this time I am going to measure a 30-degree angle. So I am going to put the middle on the same part as before. This time I'm going to make a mark at 30 degrees. So very similar to what I did yesterday with 45. I'm just making a mark at 30 instead. Now I'm going to draw a line from the center through that mark to the end point of the circle. And now I want to make sure I didn't lose anybody. Okay. So again, I lined up my protractor with the X and Y axes. Looking through this point, I should see the center. I make a mark at 30 degrees, and then I draw a line connecting that mark, making sure it goes all the way through the unit circle and the end point. Yes, it is. See the mark where it's open like this? And I did say that. This is 30 degrees right here. Okay. Next, I am going to take my protractor, turn it sideways, and draw a line that goes through that end point to the bottom. This is my 90-degree angle right here. And guess how many degrees this is right there? It will be 60. Okay, so we have created our 30, 60, 90 triangle. Now that we have created this, now that we have created this, you need to stop doing that. We need to find the length of all three sides. Okay, it is a unit circle, so that means the radius of a circle is 1. So this hypotenuse is 1. Okay. Let's back up for just a second and remember what we know about a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay? We have the hypotenuse is 2x. Across from 30 is x, and across from 60 is x square root 3. Okay? So, what is 1 equal to? 2x, x, or x square root 3? 2x. 2x equals 1. So, let's solve for x. What are we going to do? Divide by 2, and that means x equals 1/2. And that goes across from my 30 degrees. I put a 1/2 here. Please make sure that you're drawing and writing all these numbers in the inside of your triangle because you are going to cut it out. Yep, I can zoom in a little. Okay. All right. Next, we need to figure out the side across from 60, that middle side. So we're going to go 1/2 times the square root 3, correct? What's 1 times square root 3? Right, this is any whole number. We can put a 1 on the bottom, and then to just multiply this, we just multiply the tops. We get square root 3 over 2. Okay, we're going to cut this out the same way. We're not worried about the rest of this. We don't need this information, okay? So we can go ahead and cut this out. We don't need the rest of this circle. But you do need your other unit circle, and you need to have colored pencils ready to do them. You need your 2 colored pencils. Okay? So just cutting this out. We don't need to worry about any of the rest of this. Cut it out as best you can. Okay. So that's my triangle still, guys. It's up there on the board. So in case you didn't get the whole thing written down, it's right there. We're going to start tracing it in just a second. So if you didn't get it down, you should make sure to get it down right now. Draw this on your other one. Cut this out. 30, 60, 90 triangle. Keep cutting it out.
I kind of missed it my last day.
No, I would not. Thank you very much.
It seems spelled wrong. It's being black.
Okay. Should be about cut out now. Please don't throw things in my classroom.
That's not bad, right? Okay, so I am going to go ahead and trace this, and we're going to do the same thing we talked about yesterday. We're going to find the angles, and we're going to find the XY coordinates. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trace my triangle in quadrant 1. Okay, and so right there, this green first line is 30 degrees. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you did it right. It's not. It's supposed to fit right on your circle so that it touches the center 0, 0 and the outside of your circle right there. Okay. So that is 30 degrees. You guys ready to find the coordinates? You need another second? Okay. So I'm getting no response, so I'm assuming we can move on. So I cut it out and I traced it. Okay. Before we move on, I strongly suggest you flip it over. And we're going to copy everything on this side. We've got 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees. We know this side is 1. We know this side is 1/2. And we know this side is square root 3 over 2. So we've done it on both sides of my triangle now. Okay. I'm turning it back over right here. Got our 30, 60, 90 triangle. All right. If I'm at 0, 0 and I want to end up on this spot out here on the outside of the circle, how much do I go over? So I need to go right or left first. Which way am I going, first of all? From here to here. I'm going over to the right. How much? What does it say right there along the bottom? Square root 3 over 2. And I'm going to go up how much? It says right there along the side. 1/2, yes. Square root 3 over 2, comma 1/2. Okay. Now I'm going to reflect my triangle across the y-axis. Can you guys still see it in the back that it says square root 3 over 2 and 1/2? I'll zoom in some, but I want to be able to see this whole top half. Yes. Okay. Your phone should be away, correct? Because we should be worrying about this right now, not anything else.
We have square root 3 over 2, comma 1/2. Okay. You good, Mariana? Okay. So I am going to trace this triangle over here. And it's a little bit harder to figure out what the angle is. So I know it's 30 degrees right here, right? But if I'm going to back up, what's 180 minus 30 degrees? 150. So this is 150 degrees. Okay. If I'm right here at the center, how much do I go right or left to get to this point up here? I'm going to go left, so that means it's negative. Negative what? Square root 3 over 2, good. And now am I going to go up or down? Up. I'm going up 1/2. How do we feel so far? It's weird, right? Yeah, of course. Okay, you're going to have a quiz on this when we come back. I'm going to show you how to do tonight's homework. It's going to be a little bit weird, but it's going to get so easy because as long as you have this paper, you can do it, no problem. If you're not copying this down, you're not going to be able to do tonight's homework, so I strongly suggest you do. Okay. I'm going to take this triangle and reflect it over the x-axis, and I'm going to trace it. What would 180 plus 30 more be? 210. Okay. So let's put this back up here. If I'm at 0, 0, and I'm going to go which direction, right or left? Left how much? Negative square root 3 over 2. And then I'm going to go up or down. So that's negative 1/2. Okay. I'm going to reflect this across the y-axis. Everybody's got 210? I'm reflecting it across the y-axis. I'm going to trace this. Ooh. So what's 315 plus 30 more? Or what's 360 minus 30? Because that actually isn't true. You can't do 315 plus 30 more. We're at 360 minus 30 gives us 330 degrees. Okay. I went to the right, so it's positive, square root 3 over 2. And I went down 1/2, so it's negative 1/2. Okay, I'm going to zoom out just the slightest bit, and I'm going to try to make it so you can see the whole bottom. Yes? The top one here? Here? Square root 3 over 2, 1/2. 30 degrees. 30 degrees. Okay, we need your other colored pencil.
Wait, how do you get 360?
Because it goes all the way around. Because this is 0 degrees and it's 360. Right? Because if I spin all the way around the circle, that's 360, right? Okay. All right. We are going to take our little triangle and we're going to change it so the 60 degrees in the side. And then we are going to trace this. We just have 4 more to go. I know it feels like a lot. Okay,
So that's 60 degrees. Do I need to slow down? Yeah? Okay. Who feels like they know what the coordinates are for this one? Somebody say it. What do we got? Perfect. 1/2 comma square root 3 over 2. 1/2 comma square root 3 over 2. When we're done recording too, I'll make sure to zoom in on this more and put it up on the board in case you missed something. What do I do next? I'm gonna reflect. Okay. So what's 180 minus 60? So 180 minus 60 should be 120. Okay? So who thinks they know what the coordinate is for 120? Negative 1/2, comma what? Square root 3 over 2. And that's 120 degrees. Okay. I think it looks pretty if you do it nice. Yeah, if you pick good colors. Mine are not the best, but they're better. Okay. We're going to reflect it over the x-axis. So what's 180 plus 60 more? 180, 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240. Okay. What is the coordinate right down here on this circle? Negative 1/2, good. Comma negative square root 3 over 2. And then we're going to do what next? Reflect it over the y-axis. Okay, so we've got, what's 360 minus 60? 300. Okay, what's my coordinates down here for this point? So what's the x value first? Negative? It's going to the right. Positive 1/2, right? And negative square root 3 over 2. Okay, so your cosine is always the opposite, is the adjacent over the opposite, okay? Adjacent over the hypotenuse. So if we're looking, if we've got cosine, we know we have adjacent over hypotenuse. So for all of these, I will move it back down in a second. For all of these, the hypotenuse is always going to be what for all of these triangles? 1. So the adjacent is the x value. So cosine is always going to be x. Sine is always opposite over adjacent. So sine and the, opposite over hypotenuse. I don't know why I keep saying that. And what is the opposite is always going to be the y value. And the hypotenuse is always 1, so it's just going to be y. So I'm going to give you an example of what you're going to do for your homework today. Okay? So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do number 1 and 2 here. Here's cosine of 30. So I want everybody to look at their unit circle. Go to 30 degrees. You can put this up here on your paper for now. Cosine is x, sine is y. What is the x value at 30 degrees? What do you have? So go to 30 degrees, it's right here. What's the x value? That's the whole answer, you're done. Okay, now go to 45 degrees. I want to know what the y value is at 45 degrees. Square root 2 over 2, look at that, you're done. That's your whole homework. Literally, if you have this sheet, you're copying it down. Okay? All right, I'm going to stop recording.